Iran have qualified for the World Cup. All my prayers have been answered. Let's go. Boys and girls, this is going to be a video where I do my review for the match against Uzbekistan and as well talk about Iran qualifying for the 2026 World Cup in USA, Canada, Mexico. And per usual, if you're a big fan of Asian football, but more specifically the Iranian national team, make sure to subscribe because this is the channel that you need to be at for it. And then as well, for Iran qualifying for the World Cup, let's like up this video. Let's get like close to 100 likes, over 100 likes. Let's make it happen in honor of our boys, Team Melli, qualifying for their 4th consecutive World Cup, which is the first time in national team history that they've ever done that, which is fantastic. Now to get on to the match against Uzbekistan. All Iran needed was at least a draw against Uzbekistan, where they've only ever lost to once, which funnily enough was the last time Iran lost to Uzbekistan in Tehran back in 2012. So I was hoping we would not see any repeats like that here, and it did not start very well. Iran looked kind of mid. They had chances. Azmoun just absolutely stinking up the park. Uzbekistan were absolutely cooking that left-hand side with Khalilzadeh and Mohammadi. They eventually ended up getting a goal because our defense is just bad. We go into the half losing 1-0. We go out playing a little bit better, a little bit more on the front foot, which granted that was bound to happen because Uzbekistan had the lead. We had chances, couldn't capitalize. Then our boy, our Lord and Savior, Mehdi Taremi, was like, you know what, guys? How about you all just fuck off? I'm going to put the team on my back and I'm going to score an absolute golazo bombazo to help Iran qualify for this World Cup. And he did. All this criticism. Oh, he shouldn't have gone to Inter. Oh, he's not good enough to play in Europe. Oh, this and that. He's just like, fuck off. He showed up and then some. And then right after we scored, I was like, okay, we could kick on. We can get a goal. And then instead we conceded right away, right off kickoff. Free kick goes straight into the net. Because our defense is terrible. Just god-awful bad. There was no Uzbek players even attacking the ball. It was all Iranian players. Azmoun lets it go. The defenders let it go. Baranvan doesn't say a lickety-lick to be like, hey, someone boot it out. Hey, I'm going to go grab it. Nothing. And we could see a stupid goal. Then we are just going all in on Uzbekistan. We were fortunate enough that they didn't get a third. Baranvan surprisingly makes a save, which I think was his only save he made throughout the whole match. They were very exposed defensively, and we were very lucky. How I've said it in many videos, Uzbekistan seem to have this weird mental block whenever it comes time for them to daddy up, take the game by the scruff of the neck, win it by 2 or 3 goals. They just can't do it. And Iran were absolutely cooking them. Azmoun probably should have scored. Didn't score. A lot of half chances. We make the sub, bring in Golizadeh. He helps make a big difference in that game. And by no surprise, the 2 players that play in Europe at a relatively high level, Golizadeh cross, connected by Taremi. We score. Absolute scenes. Taremi's like, you know what, guys? I am that guy. And helps secure Iran qualification for the World Cup. He did it for qualification in 2018, did it as well in 2022, and again in 2026. Mehdi Taremi is a cut above everyone else. There is a reason why I have such a heavy emphasis on our players playing in Europe. Even though Mehdi is not playing his best at Inter, it shows the type of conditioning, playing at a high level, competing against the best of the best. Even though you're not having a good game, it translates in these type of matches where, yeah, he's been struggling all season. Yeah, he hasn't been at his best. Yeah, maybe he didn't have to start this game. But shows when you need a player to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, he can be that guy because he plays at such a high level. He plays with such a high standard. It just shows, and that is why I emphasize so much for players to go to Europe, to improve their game, to compete at the highest level because it makes such a big difference at national team level. And good old Mehdi Taremi does it again. Helps us qualify for the World Cup, and life is great. We are buzzing. Would I love to have seen us win the game against Uzbekistan? Finally break the duck, stop drawing against them, and get the W? Yes, 100%. But hindsight's 2020. We were very close to not even winning the game. Now, with these last couple of matches we have, we can hopefully start experimenting with the squad. And that is something I want to talk about in this video. Now that we have qualified, you got to start experimenting with the team. There is literally 0 excuses, 0%, nada, nothing for you to be like, oh, but I want to play Kanani, or oh, I want to play Baranvan, oh, I want to play Khalil. No more, man. Start playing Huzbavi, start playing Hossein-Zadeh, start playing Hossein Nejat, start playing Sahar Khizan, start playing Sayed Manesh. There is no reason for the likes of Jahanbakhsh, Azmoun, Ezutullahi, Qudus to play in these games. This is the perfect time to give the youngsters, the more inspiring players, some minutes at senior level in matches that matter. These are not friendlies. They are still World Cup qualification matches to prove themselves at national team level to you that they can be those guys, and maybe to help open your eyes to be like, hey, maybe I should give some of these younger guys a shot, embed them into the team to have that healthy mix of experience with these younger players. Who's the man that makes all these calls? Who calls the shots? Who makes the call-ups? Who selects the starting lineups? Amir Qalinouhi, and he is the biggest man we have to talk about in this video. I think I summed it up pretty well in my tweet. Qalinouhi's tactics in this game against Uzbekistan was just Taremi and Inshallah, because that's all it honestly was. There were zero tactics in this game. If it was not, yet again, for our high-end talent up top, this time around, it being Taremi, we wouldn't have even gotten a point in this game. It is not because Qalinouhi knows what he's doing. He is the definition of doing the bare minimum. We drew twice against Uzbekistan, our only challenging team in this qualification group. We only maybe had one good performance in qualification, but the rest were just barely scraping by. We did not look convincing at all throughout this qualification. And of course, there has been these rumors and reports about how the Iranian national team are going to look to maybe fire him after qualification and bring in a foreign coach. Please make that happen. And I will probably do a more in-depth video talking about this because my boy Erfan put out an absolute essay thesis talking about this whole situation and debacle, and I need to do a video talking about it for you all. Qalinouhi needs to go, man. I've seen enough. I'm tired of it, especially if he doesn't rotate and experiment in these next two final qualification games that don't mean squat diddle nada. If he still like plays out Khalilzadeh, Baranvan, Kanani, whoever the Bloods may be, I'm gonna absolutely flip shit because it makes no sense. At that point, he is the most stubborn uncle of all Iranian stubborn kubide eating uncles. Either way though, even if he does experiment, I still don't think he should be the coach. I think the sooner the Iranian national team cut their losses, sack him, the better it will be. I know people are going to say, Bashan, you can't sack a coach before the World Cup. You know what this reminds me a lot of is the Skocic situation. Yes, we can. If we do it now, I think there's still plenty of time before the World Cup for the coach to really embed tactics and just kind of use his head a little bit. Because you got the 2 qualification matches, you'll have a handful of friendlies. We're still pretty far away from the World Cup. Granted, in like game-wise, there's not that many, but time-wise, there's still plenty of time. Bring in a foreign coach. I've waxed lyrical about Hervé Renard. I think he'd be a great fit for us, but someone similar to that vein. Like how Carlos Queiroz built a structure with focusing mainly on defense, because we can clearly tell our defense is poo-poo. So that's why he had such a heavy emphasis on our defense being solid. We need a guy that has European pedigree, doesn't have to be a Zidane, doesn't have to be a Guardiola, but just a coach that had that pedigree like Queiroz, wants to be a part of a project and really invest in it. And I'm not saying bring back Carlos Queiroz. I want to emphasize that. I am not for that. I was cool with it the last time, but I've learned my lesson. Carlos Queiroz should not come back. I don't want to see a round 4. We need to adapt. We need to evolve. We need to get a coach that's a little bit more modern than Queiroz. So basically, yes, I want Qalinouhi to get the heck out as soon as possible. But no, I'm not saying bring back Queiroz. But as I said, I'm going to do a whole video talking about this whole coaching situation now that we have time, now that there's all these reports about what needs to happen with Qalinouhi. But all in all, none of this should cloud. We qualified for the World Cup. It is great. I'm thoroughly buzzing about it because unfortunately for us, we don't win Asian Cups. We don't make it far in World Cups. We just don't win any trophies, maybe outside of a CAF Nations Cup. But qualifying for World Cups is kind of like, for me, us winning the World Cup. It's a joyous moment. I'm always so pumped about it because every page, every publication talks about, oh, Iran's qualified. They booked their ticket. It's like the one time we're like a little bit in the spotlight in a positive aspect. And that's what I really like about it. So I'm buzzing. I'm happy. I'm definitely going to go out to celebrate tonight. It has to happen. Some kubide, some dur. It's going to hit the absolute spot, folks. But boys and girls, that's going to be the end of today's video. As I said, if you're not subscribed, get subscribing. Let's get this video over 100 likes in honor of Iran qualifying for the World Cup. Make it happen. And if you really enjoyed this video, make sure to check out this video next where I rank the Iranian national team kits. And then click here to subscribe because I post content weekly on the channel. So boys and girls, I hope you'll have a lovely day.